Have you ever woken up after a full 8 hours of sleep and still felt completely drained? A heaviness in your right side that you blame on sleeping in an awkward position. Skin that has suddenly become dull, breakouts appearing, even though you seem to be eating normally. A foggy head from the moment you wake up. Your mood is at rock bottom for no obvious reason. At that moment, most people drink another coffee, or go to bed earlier, or start searching online. Why am I always tired? But here's what no one tells you. These symptoms are not a sign of laziness, and not just stress. They are a signal, and that signal is being sent by one of the most underrated organs in your body, your liver. Imagine a filter in a city apartment's water system. When it works properly, the water is clean, and everything flows without interruption. But if that filter is not changed for years, if chlorine, heavy metals, medication residue, alcohol, and processed food pass through it every day, it gets clogged. And then, instead of clean water, something cloudy starts coming out of the tap. Your liver is exactly that kind of filter, only on a much larger scale. Every minute, about 1.5 liters of blood pass through it. Every minute, it neutralizes hundreds of toxic compounds, from the byproducts of alcohol breakdown to drug residue, from pesticides in vegetables to the waste products of your body's own cells. According to the World Health Organization, liver diseases are among the top 10 causes of death worldwide. And the scariest part is that the liver has almost no pain receptors. It stays silent until the very end, until it becomes too late. When the liver is overloaded and can no longer keep up with its job, toxins do not just linger. They begin circulating in the blood, settling in fat tissue, and affecting the brain, the hormonal system, and the skin. Figuratively speaking, a slow fermentation process begins. Toxins that should have been neutralized and removed remain inside and poison everything around them. That is when fatigue becomes chronic. Skin stops responding to any care routine. Weight will not come off despite dieting. Hormones fall out of balance. If nothing is done, this is a direct path toward non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which, according to the latest data, is already diagnosed in 1 out of every 4 adults on the planet. And after that, fibrosis, cirrhosis, and then the conversation is no longer about drinks, but about transplantation. But there is good news, and that is exactly why I made this video. Today, I'm going to tell you about 7 drinks made from simple, accessible ingredients that help support liver function, stimulate its natural detoxification processes. And all of this is backed by real scientific studies, not internet myths. Stay until the end, because the #1 spot in our ranking will truly surprise you. Before we begin, there is one important point that I must mention. This video is for educational purposes only. The information you are about to hear is based on scientific research and is intended for general informational use. It is not medical advice and does not replace professional consultation with a doctor or health specialist. If you have already been diagnosed with liver disease, gallbladder disease, pancreatic conditions, or if you are taking any medications, be sure to consult your doctor before making any changes to your diet or lifestyle. Some natural ingredients may interact with medications or have contraindications under certain health conditions. Your health is your responsibility. I am here to give you knowledge. The decisions are yours, ideally made together with a qualified professional. Now, let's get to it. Before we move on to the ranking, we need to destroy one very expensive myth. Open any popular health website. Type in liver detox. You will see hundreds of articles offering juices, fasting plans, expensive supplements with loud names. The detox products industry is worth tens of billions of dollars every year, and most of it is marketing, not science. Studies published in the European Journal of Gastroenterology and Hepatology showed that standard detox protocols promoted online, juice fasts, mono diets, aggressive cleansing courses, produce on average about an 8% improvement in liver function markers. And that is only in the short term. Most of them do not provide a sustainable long-term effect. Why? Because they work on the principle of mute the symptom, not restore the system. Take coffee. Yes, studies do indeed show that moderate coffee consumption is associated with a lower risk of cirrhosis. That is a fact. But if you drink coffee while running on chronic sleep deprivation, poor nutrition, and stress, it is like pouring premium gasoline into a car with a flat tire. The engine is running, but you are not actually going anywhere. Real liver recovery requires what I call the concept of essential flow. The right flow. That means creating conditions in which the liver can do its job effectively. An adequate supply of specific nutrients, support for bile flow, reduced burden on the organ, and activation of its own regenerative mechanisms. The drinks I am going to tell you about today are not magic potions. They are tools that, when used correctly, become part of that flow. And the difference between using them correctly and incorrectly is crucial. Sometimes it is literally a matter of 2 minutes versus 10. You will understand what I mean a little later. Let's begin. Starting with number 7, dandelion root decoction. Most people who know dandelion as a medicinal plant simply brew it like ordinary tea. They throw a pinch into a cup, pour in boiling water, wait a couple of minutes, and drink it. The effect is minimal, the taste is bitter, and interest fades quickly. Dandelion is not just a weed growing in your yard. It is a plant that has been traditionally used in medicine for thousands of years in many different cultures, from Europe to China. Modern research confirms that dandelion root contains inulin, taraxacin, and taraxacirin, compounds that stimulate bile production and support bile flow, and bile is one of the liver's key tools for neutralizing fats and removing toxins. A study published in 2011 in Evidence-Based Complementary and Alternative Medicine showed that dandelion extract demonstrates hepatoprotective properties, meaning it helps protect liver cells from damage. Now, an important warning. If you have gallstones or a blockage of the bile ducts, dandelion may trigger an attack because it actively stimulates bile secretion. That is something you need to know. Dandelion is also quite a strong diuretic. Without adequate water intake, it may lead to dehydration. Now let's talk about how to prepare it properly. Use dried, crushed dandelion root from a pharmacy or specialty store. 1 teaspoon, about 2 to 3 grams, for 250 milliliters of water. The main mistake most people make is steeping it for 2 minutes, and then drinking a liquid with almost no active compounds in it. Here is the correct method. Bring the water to a boil, add the dandelion root, and simmer on low heat for 10 to 15 minutes. This is not tea, it is a decoction. Strain it and let it cool slightly. Drink it warm in the morning, 20 to 30 minutes before breakfast. The course is 3 to 4 weeks, followed by a break. Number 6, milk thistle infusion. Milk thistle is sold in every pharmacy, and most people buy it in tablet form, or simply brew the seeds like tea for 3 to 5 minutes. Tablets are convenient, but they often contain an insufficient dose of the active compound. Quick tea is almost useless. Milk thistle contains silymarin, a complex of flavonoids that is probably one of the most studied natural hepatoprotectors in the world. Silymarin stimulates protein synthesis in liver cells, which speeds up their regeneration. It also acts as a powerful antioxidant, neutralizing free radicals that damage hepatocytes. A meta-analysis published in the World Journal of Gastroenterology, covering dozens of clinical studies, confirmed the clinical effectiveness of silymarin in various liver diseases. Here is what matters. Silymarin is a fat-soluble compound. That means a water infusion gives you much lower bioavailability than a properly prepared drink. Most people lose most of the benefit simply because they do not know this. Here is how to prepare it properly. Grind milk thistle seeds in a coffee grinder until they become a fine meal. This is critically important because the whole seed is hardly absorbed at all. 1 tablespoon, about 5 to 7 grams of ground seeds, for 300 milliliters of water. Add half a teaspoon of good quality plant oil, olive, or flaxseed oil. This increases the bioavailability of silymarin, since it is fat-soluble. Bring the mixture to a boil, reduce the heat, and simmer for 10 minutes. Strain through a fine sieve. Drink it warm twice a day, morning and evening. The course is 4 to 6 weeks. Number 5, ginger and lemon infusion. Ginger with lemon is a classic. Everyone knows it, everyone drinks it, especially in winter. They throw a slice of lemon and a round of ginger into hot water. Done. Yes, it is better than soda, but it is still far from unlocking the full potential of this combination. Ginger contains gingerols and chogols, bioactive compounds with powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. Animal studies show that ginger extract reduces oxidative stress in liver tissue and lowers inflammation. Lemon contains D-limonene, a compound that stimulates liver enzymes involved in detoxification. Ginger is not a neutral product. In high doses, it thins the blood, which is important for people taking anticoagulants. Also, on an empty stomach, a concentrated ginger drink can irritate the stomach lining in people with gastritis. Here is how to prepare it correctly. Use fresh ginger root, 3 to 4 centimeters, about 15 to 20 grams. Grate it finely. Do not slice it into rounds. Grate it. This releases significantly more bioactive compounds. Pour in 400 milliliters of water, bring it to a boil, and simmer on low heat for exactly 10 minutes, no less. While the infusion cools slightly to around 60 degrees, not hotter, otherwise you will destroy the vitamin C. Squeeze in the juice of half a lemon. Drink it 20 minutes after a meal, not on an empty stomach. In the morning or at lunchtime, you may add a small amount of honey. Number 4, turmeric infusion with black pepper. People add turmeric to food, and that is good. Or they make golden milk from an online recipe that often leaves out the most important component. Without it, turmeric is absorbed at a statistically negligible level. Curcumin, the main active compound in turmeric, is one of the most studied natural anti-inflammatory substances. Studies show its potential for lowering inflammatory markers in the liver, protecting hepatocytes, and supporting bile flow. But here's the problem. The bioavailability of curcumin when consumed in the usual way is catastrophically low, around 1%. The body simply cannot absorb it properly, and here comes the main secret of this drink. Piperine, a compound from black pepper, increases the bioavailability of curcumin by 2,000%. Not by 20, not by 200, by 2,000. This is a documented fact from pharmacological research. Without black pepper, you are literally pouring the benefit down the drain. At the same time, it is important to know that high concentrations of curcumin may increase bile secretion, which is a problem in gallstone disease. It may also interact with anticoagulants. Here is how to prepare it correctly. Half a teaspoon of turmeric, about 2 grams, plus a generous pinch of freshly ground black pepper, plus half a teaspoon of coconut or olive oil. Curcumin is also fat-soluble. Pour in 300 milliliters of warm milk or water. Temperature should not exceed 70 degrees. Stir thoroughly or whisk for at least 2 minutes until you get a uniform suspension. Drink it warm in the evening. The course is 4 weeks. Number 3, beet kvass, beet juice. Everyone has heard that it is good for the liver. People drink it raw, in one go, immediately after juicing, and then they are surprised by nausea, dizziness, and a sharp drop in blood pressure. Beets contain betaine, a compound that supports the methylation process in liver cells. Methylation is a biochemical process critically important for neutralizing certain toxins, including homocysteine. Beets are also rich in nitrates, which support circulation, and in antioxidants, betalains, which give them their characteristic color. A study published in the journal Nutrients showed that betaine supports liver function and reduces fat accumulation in liver tissue. Concentrated raw beet juice is a very powerful product. It can sharply lower blood pressure, especially in people with hypotension. It also contains oxalates, which in excessive amounts put stress on the kidneys. The principle of more is better absolutely does not work here. Why is kvass better than juice? Fermentation partially breaks down the oxalates, makes the drink gentler on digestion, adds a probiotic component, and reduces the concentration of active substances to a physiologically appropriate level. Here's how to make beet kvass. Take 500 grams of fresh beets, wash them thoroughly, peel them, and cut them into cubes about 2 by 2 centimeters. Do not grate them. Cubes are important because fermentation proceeds more evenly that way. Place them into a clean 1-liter glass jar. Add 1 level teaspoon of non-iodized salt. This is important, plus a small piece of rye bread or 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar as a starter. Pour in cold filtered water until the beets are fully covered. Cover with cheesecloth and leave at room temperature for 48 to 72 hours. Taste it. Finished kvass should be slightly sour, a deep dark red color with the characteristic smell of fermentation. Start with 50 milliliters in the morning, gradually increasing to 100 to 150 milliliters. Dilute it with water 1:1 during the first 2 weeks. Number 2, chicory root decoction with artichoke. Chicory is what people drink instead of coffee. Instant, from a packet, with milk and sugar. Tasty, pleasant, but only indirectly related to liver support. Chicory root contains inulin, a prebiotic that feeds beneficial gut microflora, and the gut and liver are linked through the portal vein system. Essentially, everything absorbed in the intestines goes first to the liver. A healthy microbiome means fewer toxic metabolites reaching the liver, but the main active compounds in chicory for our purposes are escalatin and chicoric acid, which show hepatoprotective properties in laboratory studies. Artichoke contains cynarin and silymarin. Yes, the same compound found in milk thistle. Substances that stimulate bile synthesis and flow and support liver cell regeneration. A study in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry showed that artichoke leaf extract significantly stimulates bile secretion. Artichoke, like dandelion, actively stimulates bile flow. People with gallstone disease should be cautious. Also, the inulin in chicory in large amounts may cause gas and bloating in people with sensitive intestines. Here's how to prepare it properly. 1 tablespoon of crushed dry chicory root plus 1 tablespoon of dried artichoke leaves, or extract per 500 milliliters of water. Bring it to a boil, reduce the heat to the lowest setting, and simmer for 15 minutes. This is crucial. 5 minutes gives you a weak tea. 15 minutes gives you a concentrated decoction with a real content of active compounds. Strain it and divide it into 2 servings. The first 30 minutes before breakfast, the second 30 minutes before dinner. The course is 3 to 4 weeks, followed by a 2-week break. And now, we have reached first place. I deliberately saved it for the end, because the power of this drink is not in one exotic ingredient. It is in synergy. In the right combination, the right timing, the right preparation. This is the revelation, not because the ingredients are expensive or rare, but because the right combination of ordinary things gives a result far greater than the sum of its parts. Number 1, a synergistic infusion of green tea with lemon and turmeric. Everyone drinks green tea. They steep a tea bag in a cup of boiling water, wait 3 minutes, add sugar. What they get is a drink with damaged catechins. Boiling water destroys them. And 0 additional synergy. Green tea catechins, especially EGCG, epigallocatechin galat, are among the most researched natural compounds with hepatoprotective properties. Dozens of clinical studies show their role in lowering oxidative stress in the liver, reducing inflammation, and supporting non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. A large Japanese study involving more than 90,000 participants found a connection between regular green tea consumption and a reduced risk of chronic liver diseases. These are epidemiological data from a large cohort. That is serious. But here's where the magic of synergy begins. When you add lemon juice to properly brewed green tea, something remarkable happens. The vitamin C in lemon stabilizes catechins in the acidic environment of the stomach, significantly increasing their absorption. Research from Purdue University showed that adding lemon juice to green tea increases catechin bioavailability 6-fold, 6 times, without any supplements, just lemon. Turmeric with black pepper adds a powerful anti-inflammatory component. We have already talked about curcumin. Here it works as part of an ensemble. Honey is not just a sweetener. Natural honey contains phenolic compounds with antioxidant properties. And, importantly, it gently supports bile flow. Here is what happens when you drink this beverage correctly, 30 to 40 minutes before breakfast, on a lightly empty stomach, but not immediately after waking up. Give your body 15 to 20 minutes first. Catechins begin working as antioxidants, reducing the level of free radicals in the blood that make their way to the liver. Second, curcumin activates specific phase 2 detoxification enzymes in the liver. This is not a metaphor, this is biochemistry. These are enzymes that neutralize and mark toxins for elimination. Third, lemon juice stimulates bile production, which starts bile flow that literally washes neutralized toxins into the intestines for further elimination. All of this happens in synergy at the same time. That is essential flow in action. Now for the most detailed preparation method. You will need 1 teaspoon of high-quality loose-leaf green tea, not bagged tea, because loose-leaf contains 2 to 3 times more catechins. 300 milliliters of water. The juice of half a lemon, freshly squeezed, not from a bottle, because bottled juice has lost much of its vitamin C. 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. A pinch of freshly ground black pepper. Half a teaspoon of natural honey. And optionally, 1 small piece of fresh ginger, about 1 centimeter, grated. Step 1, heat the water to 75 to 80 degrees. This is critically important. No boiling water. Temperatures above 85 degrees destroy catechins. You are literally boiling away the benefit. If you do not have a thermometer, boil the water and let it sit for 5 to 7 minutes. Step 2. Pour the water over the tea at the correct temperature. Time exactly 3 minutes. No more. If you steep it longer, the tea begins to turn bitter and releases excess tannins that may irritate the stomach lining. Step 3. While the tea is steeping, grate the ginger if you are using it. Mix the turmeric and black pepper together in a separate spoon. Step 4. Strain the tea. Add the turmeric and pepper and stir well. When the temperature of the drink drops to 60 degrees, add the honey. At higher temperatures, its active compounds are destroyed. Squeeze in the lemon juice last. Step 5. Drink it slowly in small sips, 20 to 30 minutes before your first meal. Do not follow it immediately with food. Let the drink do its work. The course is 4 to 6 weeks of daily use. After a 2-week break, it can be repeated. What you may notice after 2 to 3 weeks: more energy in the morning, improved skin condition, easier digestion of fatty foods, a sign of improved bile flow, and a general feeling of lightness. This is not mysticism, it is physiology. So, let's sum it up. Today, we went from understanding why the liver is not just an organ, but a key filter of your body, to specific, science-based tools for supporting its function. Number 7. Dandelion root decoction. Stimulation of bile flow, but only as a 15-minute decoction, not a 2-minute tea. Number 6. Milk thistle infusion with oil. Silymarin for liver cell regeneration, but only ground seeds with added fat for bioavailability. Number 5. Ginger and lemon infusion. Anti-inflammatory support, but only if the ginger is grated and simmered for 10 minutes, not sliced into rounds and dropped into hot water. Number 4. Turmeric infusion with black pepper. A 2,000% increase in curcumin bioavailability, but only with pepper and fat. Number 3. Beet Kvass, betaine, for methylation in the liver, gentler and more effective than raw juice. Number 2. Chicory and artichoke decoction. Double support, microbiome, and bile flow, but only after 15 minutes on low heat. And number 1, a synergistic infusion of green tea with lemon, turmeric, and honey, prepared at 75 to 80 degrees. Maximum catechin bioavailability, activation of detoxification enzymes, stimulation of bile flow. Now you have a choice. You can change nothing. Keep blaming fatigue on stress, heaviness on having eaten the wrong thing, breakouts on the weather. Your liver will continue quietly coping until one day it no longer can, or you can start small. Pick one drink from today's ranking, the one whose ingredients you already have at home or can easily buy. Prepare it correctly. Try it for 2 weeks. This is not magic. It is not a promise of instant healing. It is support for an organ that works for you every second, silently, without weekends, without holidays. And remember, these drinks are supportive tools. If you have real symptoms of liver problems, go see a doctor. Get tested. These drinks will not replace medical treatment for serious disease. If this video was useful to you, leave a like. It is a small gesture, but it helps this information reach the people who need it. Subscribe to the channel if you want more health content based on science, not marketing. And write in the comments, which drink from today's ranking will you try first? I would really like to know your experience. Take care of yourself. See you soon.